This is a demonstration of the UniMocXAnimate control in a PowerPoint presentation. We've set up a PowerPoint slide here and made it UniMox enabled by adding a UniMox control to it, a UniMox slider control, and a UniMox gauge control. The slider control has been programmed to increase or decrease the heart rate based on its position, and you can view a video on the use of the UniMox slider control also via the UniMox web page. Heart rate gauge here actually displays the heart rate for this UniMox control here. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to add an element here that will give us some feedback as to what the heart rate is other than the gauge itself. And so we're going to go in and we're going to choose a UniMocXAnimate control. And we will draw it on the page. Right click on it. Choose the Properties menu selection. Now we're going to go ahead and choose an animated GIF file that we can synchronize to the simulation. Let's choose a rabbit. Rabbit would be good. Now, for us to be able to properly sync the rabbit to the simulation, we need to know which frame of the rabbit corresponds to the beginning of systole and which frame corresponds to diastole. So let's go ahead and set up our a fixed period, so the frames will change every 350 milliseconds, and we'll have it so it shows the frame number. That way we can identify which frame goes with systole and which frame goes with diastole. So we'll choose OK, and we will start our presentation. And so here is our rabbit. And as everyone knows, systole begins when the rabbit reaches the top of his arc, which is there, which I believe is frame 8. Let's see here, frame 8, yep. And at the beginning of the diastole, he's just starting to jump. So at frame 0 is diastole. Actually, I think it's the other way around. Frame 0, when he begins to jump, is systole. Frame 8, when he begins to descend, is diastole. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop our presentation. And we'll go to our animate control here. We'll go back to setting the fixed period to -1. As soon as you set it to a minus value, it no longer uses a fixed period. It syncs it to whatever part of the simulation that you're looking for. Will no longer show the frame number. We've determined that systole begins at frame 0 and diastole begins at frame 8. Now, network you should be used to by now. That obviously ties us to a particular UniMox control. And in this case, we're choosing the left ventricle driver, that is the component of the simulation that controls the contraction of the left ventricle. So our image here, our animated GIF, is going to be synced to the left ventricle driver. So we'll choose OK, and we'll start our animation, and we'll see that he's now jumping at 75 beats per minute. Now let's go ahead and increase his jump rate to 127 beats per minute. You can see that the rabbit is being very active, losing weight. We'll go ahead and slow the rabbit down to 40 beats per minute. And now the rabbit's a little less frenetic. So that's how you use a UniMocXAnimate control in your PowerPoint presentation.